Africa's population has rapidly increased over the last 40 years and is consequently relatively young. In some African states, more than half the population is under 25 years of age. The total number of people in Africa increased from 229 million in 1950 to 630 million in 1990. As of 2021, the population of Africa is estimated at 1.4 billion. Africa's total population surpassing other continents is fairly recent. African population surpassed Europe in the 1990s, while the Americas was overtaken sometime around the year 2000. Africa's rapid population growth is expected to overtake the only two nations currently larger than its population. At roughly the same time, India and China's 1.4 billion people each will swap ranking around the year 2022. This increase in number of babies born in Africa compared to the rest of the world is expected to reach approximately 37% in the year 2050, while in 1990 sub-Saharan Africa accounted for only 16% of the world's births. The total fertility rate, children per woman, for sub-Saharan Africa is 4.7 as of 2018, the highest in the world. All countries in sub-Saharan Africa had TFR's average number of children above replacement level in 2019 and accounted for 27.1% of global live births. In 2021, sub-Saharan Africa accounted for 29% of global births. Speakers of Bantu languages, part of the Niger-Congo family, are the majority in southern, Central and Southeast Africa. The Bantu-speaking peoples from the Sahel progressively expanded over most of sub-Saharan Africa. But there are also several Nilotic groups in South Sudan and East Africa. The mixed Swahili people on the Swahili coast, and a few remaining indigenous Khoisan, San, or Bushman, and Pygmy peoples in southern and central Africa, respectively. Bantu-speaking Africans also predominate in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea, and are found in parts of southern Cameroon. In the Kalahari Desert of southern Africa, the distinct people known as the Bushmen, also San, closely related to, but distinct from, Hottentots, have long been present. The San are physically distinct from other Africans and are the indigenous people of southern Africa. Pygmies are the pre-Bantu indigenous peoples of Central Africa. The peoples of West Africa primarily speak Niger-Congo languages, belonging mostly to its non-Bantu branches, though some Nilo-Saharan and Afro-Asiatic speaking groups are also found. The Niger-Congo speaking Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Akan, and Wolof ethnic groups are the largest and most influential. In the Central Sahara, Mandinka or Mande groups are most significant. Chadic-speaking groups, including the Hausa, are found in more northerly parts of the region nearest to the Sahara. And Nilo-Saharan communities, such as the Songhai, Kanuri and Zarma, are found in the eastern parts of West Africa bordering Central Africa. The peoples of North Africa consist of three main indigenous groups: Berbers in the northwest, Egyptians in the northeast, and Nilo-Saharan speaking peoples in the east. The Arabs who arrived in the 7th century CE introduced the Arabic language and Islam to North Africa. The Semitic Phoenicians, who founded Carthage, and Hyksos, the Indo-Iranian Alans, the Indo-European Greeks, Romans, and Vandals settled in North Africa as well. Significant Berber communities remain within Morocco and Algeria in the 21st century. While, to a lesser extent, Berber speakers are also present in some regions of Tunisia and Libya. The Berber-speaking Tuareg and other often nomadic peoples are the principal inhabitants of the Saharan interior of North Africa. In Mauritania, There is a small but near-extinct Berber community in the north and Niger-Congo-speaking peoples in the south, though in both regions Arabic and Arab culture predominates. In Sudan, although Arabic and Arab culture predominate, it is mostly inhabited by groups that originally spoke Nilo-Saharan, such as the Nubians, Fur, Masalit and Zagwa, who, over the centuries, have variously intermixed with migrants from the Arabian Peninsula. Small communities of Afro-Asiatic-speaking Beja nomads can also be found in Egypt and Sudan. In the Horn of Africa, some Ethiopian and Eritrean groups, like the Amhara and Tigrayans, collectively known as Habesha, speak languages from the Semitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family, while the Oromo and Somali speak languages from the Kushaktuk branch of Afro-Asiatic. Prior to the decolonization movements of the post-World War II era, Europeans were represented in every part of Africa. Decolonization during the 1960s and 1970s often resulted in the mass emigration of white settlers, especially from Algeria and Morocco. 1.6 million Painuas in North Africa, Kenya, Congo, Rhodesia, Mozambique and Angola. Between 1975 and 1977, over 1 million colonials returned to Portugal alone. Nevertheless, white Africans remain an important minority in many African states, particularly Zimbabwe, Namibia, Reunion, and South Africa. The country with the largest white African population is South Africa. Dutch and British diasporas represent the largest communities of European ancestry on the continent. Today, European colonization also brought sizable groups of Asians, particularly from the Indian subcontinent, to British colonies. Large Indian communities are found in South Africa, and smaller ones are present in Kenya, Tanzania, and some other southern and southeast African countries. The large Indian community in Uganda was expelled by the dictator Idi Amin in 1972. Though many have since returned. The islands in the Indian Ocean are also populated primarily by people of Asian origin, often mixed with Africans and Europeans. The Malagasy people of Madagascar are an Austronesian people, but those along the coast are generally mixed with Bantu, Arab, Indian and European origins. Malay and Indian ancestries are also important components in the group of people known in South Africa as Cape Coloureds, people with origins in two or more races and continents. During the 20th century, small but economically important communities of Lebanese and Chinese have also developed in larger coastal cities of West and East Africa, respectively.